welcome to Plagowski Pins and Collectibles. Now in today's video, I'm going to go through a lot that I bought of about 200 or so pins, and there's a really great variety in this one. Here, the first layer I've got, as you can see, some Bart Simpson, and I have a Robin pin, which is pretty neat because it looks like a standard sort of enamel pin. And if I look at the back, it does actually say DC Comics in the back, so it does confirm that this is a legitimate pin, and it'll be highly collectible because Batman is super popular, but Robin pins I don't think are that common, so it'll be very interesting to see what that ends up going for. I also have this Joker pin, which I really think is neat, and if I flip him upside down, you can sort of see as well that this one also has, if I remove this pin back, it's kind of hard to do one-handed, but here you go. You can see here DC Comics 1988, so this would have been released the year before the 1989 Batman movie. So there's a Joker, and then I've got 3 of these Spider-Man, and as you can see here, it says 1991 Marvel, so this also validates that these 3, and they're all the same in the back, I checked. This all validates that this is a legitimate Marvel pin. And occasionally you'll get things like advertising pins and lots like this. This is a Minolta one. You can see there's a little bit of scratching there. What I did want to talk about, though, is when you buy lots online and you have them delivered to your house, sometimes the sellers don't really care about how they've been packaged, and these in particular were just thrown in a big plastic bag and shipped. So what will often happen is pins will come damaged. So I've got one here where the pin back actually broke off completely during transport, which is kind of unfortunate because this is a Montreal Olympics pin. It's an advertising pin for ABC. It may sell like this without the pin back, but obviously it's lost its value because of it. And sometimes you'll get pins like this Infinity advertising pin where you can see there's quite a bit of scratching and damage to it. So again, when you have pins shipped to you, there's no guarantees that you're going to get a great product. You might end up with some damage. And then you'll get pins like this that are plastic pins with advertising on it, but really doesn't mean much, and it doesn't have any real value, any collectible value. So this is the kind of pin that just kind of gets thrown out or gets recycled from my perspective, because I can't sell this. And then you'll get pins that you're not even sure what they are, and I think this might be a provincial Quebec thing. I'm not sure. I'd have to take a look and see, but anyway, just to show you that sometimes you can get lots, you can get some pins that you're not entirely sure what to do with, but these guys here will likely get recycled because I can't really sell those. This next set of pins here I'm really quite jazzed about. I actually love these pins. These are awesome. So these Warner Brother pins here, I'll show you. This is a gorgeous enamel pin with Bugs Bunny and Daffy and Sylvester, and if you look at the back, you can see that this is a legitimate pin that has the Warner Brothers insignia on the back, which is awesome. And I've got 2 of these in this lot. I've got one with Bugs Bunny all on his own here. These are gorgeous pins, and I just like to say that for these pins, I believe I paid $2 a pin in this lot for these pins. Some of these pins, again, will not sell for more than $2 or $3, but others like this one here will probably fetch somewhere between $15 and $20. We've got, like, Fred Flintstone. I'll bring him a little closer here so you can see him. He's in pretty good condition. I mean, his enamel's in pretty good shape. No real way to tell if this is an official pin, though, because there's nothing in the back here that really gives me that impression. On the other hand, Daffy Duck here, as you can see, Daffy, if I flip him upside down, you can actually see that he's got official trademarking markings on it. So he's an official pin. He'll command a little bit more coin because of it. This Superman pin, again, kind of a neat piece. I actually love this insignia, but you can see here it's got quite a few scratches on the surface, so it loses its value a little bit because of that. If I take the pin back off of this one, you can actually see, and I'll show you here, this one has the official DC Comics on it as well. It looks vintage. I don't know the age of this. I'll have to do some research, but again, it is official, but it does have a little bit of that surface scratching, which can affect its value overall. Mighty Mouse is another one that does not have any markings in the back, but he's actually a really cool vintage pin, and actually he's quite collectible. This guy here I've seen go for, $15, $20 online. So we've got Betty Boop, and we've got the Pink Panther. Now this guy is really neat, actually. I like this Pink Panther one. I don't think he has any markings that make him official really per se, but I do know that the Pink Panther is fairly collectible as well. An interesting case are these Mickey Mouse pins. So Disney pins, as you know, are very, 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 very popular. One of these things are not like the other. So this pin here actually has Disney markings in the back. So if you look at Walt Disney Company official licensed product, right? This pin seems to me like it was probably made prior to the big copycats happening. Likely a very legitimate pin, probably very collectible. This guy here though has nothing in the back, absolutely nothing. And as you can see in the back, it's kind of messy. Even if I take this pin back off, there's really nothing there that indicates to me that this is a real Disney pin. So this is probably a fantasy pin. This is probably an unlicensed product. It was reproduced or produced by a company that maybe had the rights to it or not. I don't know. But it certainly doesn't look like a real legit Disney pin. However, it's still Mickey Mouse. He's still very valuable in the sense that he's vintage. And, you know, someone will likely want to buy this guy for their collection. Another great addition to this collection are these two Batman pins. Now, I started with them upside down because you can see here that one clearly does not have any markings and the other one does. So you have here, this one here, it actually says DC Comics 1982, it looks like, whereas this one has nothing. Now it has a waffle pattern on it, so it does not mean that it's not an official pin necessarily, but obviously if you look at this one here, it's actually a really cool, let me bring it up for you so you can see it a bit better. So you've got this really cool sort of enamel pin with lots of detail. That's kind of neat. And then there's this one here, which is official, and as you can see, there's a little bit of scratching on the surface of the enamel here. So again, that affects its overall value. But maybe I'll get back what I need to get out of it in order to make my money back, but I still think it's a really neat pin. This little bit of the lot, you can see the first of the advertising pins start up here. We've got these Sam the Eagle pins, which are really kind of neat. They're from the LA Olympics, so this is a Budweiser advertising pin, and here's one from Sears Roebuck. Again, Sears is a company that went bankrupt a couple of years back, so actually they don't exist anymore. You can see here 1980 LA, so that's kind of neat. Those are the first two of many of them that I actually have coming through this collection. We've got some Canon and some Fujifilm advertising pins and some Hard Rock Cafe pins. And there's a pin here from, it looks like a restaurant in France. And then we've got these car pins, which are like Kodak advertising. So you can see that there. It's neat. I love the enamel on this one. It's really neat. And they're okay condition. I mean, they got a few scratches, scuffs, surface scuffs. And if we look at the back here, you can see it's a legitimate Kodak company pin from 1991. So this really weird McDonald's, Ronald McDonald pin. I mean, look at the face on that. Isn't that a bit creepy? Anyway, it's kind of cool, and it's very solid. It's a solid pin. It's very heavy. But you know, to the McDonald's collector, this might be a really neat find. So anyway, it looks like a fantasy pin. Like it looks like something that somebody almost colored themselves, because the lines on his jacket are a bit weird. But and then we have this one here, which was a legitimate pin that would have been given out on Le Grand McDon. So it would have been like a donation day, I guess, to raise money for charity or for Ronald McDonald House likely. And then of course we have this guy here who's Mario. So not an official pin, it looks like, because I don't see anything marking it as such, but still a very neat little piece. We're getting into some of the Olympic pins as part of this collection. Here's one here, the Calgary 88 Team USA hockey pin. This is really, I love the look of this pin actually. And you can see on the back that it is in fact COA 1979. So it definitely is a legitimate pin. You've got some advertising pins from the Olympics, which is neat as well. So you've got this Suzuki pin. Again, you can see in the back, LA pin, so it's legit. Here's another one here, an official sponsor of the Olympics, 1992. This is Canon, sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team. Again, you've got your markings, your codes in the back, making this an official pin. Here's one that's really neat because it's vintage. The Barcelona bound. This is the Dream Team pin. Now, I can't tell if this was supposed to always be yellow or if it yellowed with time. It might have always had to be yellow. I have to do some research to find out because it's the Olympic flame, so perhaps it was always meant to be yellow. And there's the back of this one here. More Olympic pins here. Very neat pins, you know. These are very common, actually. I see these all the time online. These Atlanta 96 pins are very popular. Bushnell pin, Polaroid pins. Actually, this one's really nice. I actually quite like this a lot. This Rawlings Los Angeles 84 pin. I love this. I don't know why, it just tickles me. I just like this one. And then you can see the official LA 84 at the back here, so you know that that's official. I'll just kind of do a bit of a sweep here. I've got some more Olympics pins. In fact, this lot was full of Olympic pins, which I love. We don't really collect Olympic pins anymore. I know my husband used to want to collect Olympic paraphernalia, but we don't do that anymore, so I just put them in my shop now. But I do like these pins. In fact, I just have a few I'd like to show you. This Romanian one here is really neat. I love that. Again, though, there's some scratches on the surface of the acrylic. I have this McDonald's one here, which is actually in better condition. The Mazola one here is quite cool because it's got some nice color on it, although it looks like it's been scratched a little bit there. And then, as with every lot of pins that I buy, you get pins you don't know what to do with, or you're not sure if they have any value. So these guys here, these really have no value. I mean, not really. It says vaincre leucémie. So for people who don't speak French, that's to beat leukemia. And it's a pin, I'm assuming, that would have been given to somebody maybe who donated bone marrow or money or something. There's 3 of them in this lot. I really don't think there's any value to those, but I mean, I'll list them as a lot of 3, but again, at the end of the day, I really don't think they're going to sell. This is kind of neat. I don't even know what to make of this. Looks like it's a, let's see here. It has Horloger Genève. So it looks like this might be either a timekeeper or a clockmaker pin from Geneva. And actually, if you look at the back, it says Genève. So it's a Geneva pin. It's quite cool. For a clock pin collector, this might be really a cool thing to get. I don't know. But this is neat as an acrylic piece. Then you have this really silly kind of thing that I'd rather be in Florida. Well, maybe not during COVID, but I do love Florida. It's where my happy place is, which is Walt Disney World. So I don't mind being in Florida. It's kind of a neat pin. In fact, I might actually just keep that one. And then you'll get things like this where there's a lot of damage to the surface and you really can't sell that. I mean, this is not sellable. Like, I don't know, man. Who's going to buy that? Honestly, I don't know. I'll list it for like $1.99 or something and see if somebody takes it. But I just have to go to Niagara Falls myself and grab one of these. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, it's all good. So we have, just to give you a quick pan of the different pins that I had in this one lot. Quite a few really interesting ones. These here are my favorite. They're probably the most valuable of the bunch. I didn't pay that much. I think, like I said, about $2, maybe a little less for each one of these. Some will get that, some will get more. But at the end of the day, it's worth it and it's fun. It's fun to get these in the package in the mail and you get to open them up and see them all for what they are. It's just so much fun. So thanks again for watching Flagowski Pins and Collectibles. It's always fun to go through a new lot of pins when I get them. I kind of look forward to going to the mailbox when I buy a large set like this. I have another 2 or 3 pin lots coming in the next little while. I think the next video I'm going to focus on Disney pins because I love Disney pins. As you can see, I have my own little pin board at the back. I actually have another pin board in my bedroom that I'm starting to populate with new pins, and I trade pins. I buy pins from pin traders online on Facebook pages that I belong to. I actually love the quality of the Disney pins. And so I will buy them online. I will look at eBay, but I will also look at people selling them on Kijiji to see if there's any options there. I look for Disney pins when I go to my local thrift stores because you never know if you'll find one there. It's kind of like a treasure hunt. And I also buy them via Facebook Marketplace because people do sell them there as well. I find the personal lots that people sell tend to be the best value. And the main reason is because these are generally people who are not collectors that just want to, release themselves of all of this pin stuff they have in their house. And they tend to give you good value when you buy multiples. So if you buy a lot of 50 or of 100 or 200 pins, it may seem like a large dollar value when you first buy it. So if they're charging you, let's say $1 a pin, and it's a 200 pin lot, it's $200 you're putting out. So it's a bit of a risk in the sense that, what if my pins don't sell? That is a really great concern. And it's one that I share all the time because I have stock on my store right now that may or may not sell. But at the end of the day, it's $1 a pin. And if these are Disney pins, even if they're movie promo pin backs, or even if they're, round buttons that you get in the parks or at special events that they have these round buttons at, it's still worthwhile looking at because at $1 a pin, you can turn around and sell those on eBay for $2, $3, $5, $10, $15, depending on how rare they are, how big they are, how detailed they are, the great quality they're in, the kind of pin they are. Are they a pin back like those Disney pins back there? Are they an actual button? Those all have significant influence on the overall price and what you can get for them. So, you know, it may seem like a large amount up front, but at the end of the day, if you sell a $1 pin for $5 or $10, 20 of those pins out of 200 for that price point, and you've just made back your money, and then everything after that is gravy. That said, though, not all pins sell like that. So there's a lot of times you'll get a pin that you spent $1 on and you'll get maybe $2.99 for it. So you do have to hustle. And as I've said in previous videos, if you think you're going to become a millionaire or a pinionaire selling pins, that's not going to happen unless you sell gazillions of them on a monthly basis. And there are groups that do that on eBay. I'm just a side seller, so this is like a side business for me. But that said, though, it's fun. It's fun to get packages in the mail. It's fun to go through them. It's fun to see the pins in person. You see the pictures and then you buy them and it's like, wow, these are really cool. It's fun to actually list them because the anticipated potential value of what they can pull to you is there. So it's exciting and it's part of the magic of selling as an eBay reseller. Plus, on occasion, I'll see a pin that I like that I'm just going to hang on to myself and keep, and I've done that on a number of occasions. In fact, you can see some of the poster pins that are back there. I've got Lightning McQueen and Doc Hudson, and I've got a few pins back there that I got from a lot that I'm keeping for myself, and then I'll sell the rest. So if you're interested in anything I've ever shown you in this video or in any video, just go to the link down below where my eBay store is, and you can take a look and peruse through and see if there's anything there that's of interest to you. Remember that I try to keep shipping costs down, and if you're interested in combined shipping, just send me an email via eBay, and I will definitely work with you on getting more than one pin in the same shipment if possible. Pins don't weigh a lot, so I can get multiples in the same envelope, so for the same price. So just make sure that if you're interested in more than one pin to let me know, and I will certainly look at combining shipping for you. And hey, be sure to subscribe because I plan on doing this on a regular basis. You know, as I buy lots, as I sell them, as I list them, as I find new treasures, I'm gonna share those treasures with you, and hopefully you'll enjoy coming along with me. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.